Alright guys, so we have some new rumored info on the plot details of the upcoming Thor Ragnarok film. Now, Thor Ragnarok has been in the works for quite some time, with Kevin Feige calling it a very important piece of Marvel's Phase 3, even aligning it to how impactful Captain America the Winter Soldier was for Phase 2. So we know that Thor Ragnarok is probably going to be a pretty important film and kind of shake up the cosmic stuff happening in the MCU, maybe give us some hints to Thanos and what's going on behind the larger picture of this entire phase. So if you guys don't know, the Schmoes Know website has teased that they are going to be dropping some exclusive Marvel scoops throughout the week regarding Avengers Infinity War, Spider-Man Homecoming, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and the first up is Thor Ragnarok. So again, these are just rumored spoilers here, rumored plot details on the movie, so if you don't want to know what potentially might be the movie, you should probably click off the video. But basically what I'm going to do is break down what they're talking about here and then give my thoughts on the big changes that are going to be happening to the movie. So basically they say that the buddy team-up movie is now confirmed to be taking place on the planet called Ragnarok rather than just be an adaptation of the Ragnarok storyline from the comics. So this is kind of weird to me. Feels very different from, what we've heard so far of cast and crew talking about the movie. They said details are very limited about what the planet's going to be, but they confirmed that Ragnarok will have a Gladiator meets Mad Max aesthetic in terms of what the planet looks like, and the Gladiator ring where Thor and Hulk are going to be fighting at and stuff. So they continue on to say, while on Ragnarok, the planet, Thor and Hulk end up having to fight their way at it in the arenas, which are run by the Grand Master, who has a rather tough enforcer named Scourge, who's played by Karl Urban. And Karl Urban's character Scourge plays a very big part in the film. He is kind of integral to the overall plots. So while fighting in the arenas, Thor runs into the Valkyrie, who is a fellow contestant. They don't really say if she's an Asgardian in this version or if they know each other beforehand, but they just say she's a fellow contestant and Thor just kind of runs into her. The two earn each other's respect and plot a way off the planet, and somehow by the end of the story, Scourge turns to the light and helps them escape the planet of Ragnarok. Now, how this all unfolds is still a mystery to the source. So all in all, I'm kind of mixed on this. I'm not sure how I feel about them making Ragnarok the name of a planet where the arenas are held and the Grandmaster's running the planet, and then Scourge the Executioner being the actual muscle or enforcer for the Grandmaster rather than being Hela's pawn in the movie. That's a big difference from the comic books. I know a lot of people are going to be kind of up in arms about the whole Ragnarok switch, because for the longest time when we had heard about Thor Ragnarok being the third film, it was going to be like this very dark story. It was possibly teasing the death of Odin in the MCU and maybe Thor having to take over as king of Asgard, and then Loki, the end of the Nine Realms, all this kind of stuff, very end of the world type stuff happening here. Much darker story and take on this, and from what I understand, there was actually a darker take on Thor Ragnarok, the script written in 2014 actually, when the Winter Soldier had been released. Marvel is planning their Phase 3 stuff. They announced their whole slate and everything, and from what I understand, there was actually a draft of Thor Ragnarok that was a very faithful adaptation of the comic book storyline. It included Surtur, the fire demon, all that kind of stuff. So it's just interesting the difference in take that Taika Waititi is taking on the movies. It's not really a Ragnarok anymore. It's sort of this amalgamation of a Planet Hulk-esque buddy cop movie where they're trying to go across the galaxy, stop Loki, all this kind of stuff. So who knows how it's all going to play out. At least we know that Hela's in the movie and she's going to be played by Cate Blanchett, so that's a pretty cool casting there. But anyways, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you guys think of this, and what are your thoughts on the whole switch up with Ragnarok being the name of the planets and then Scourge being the muscle for the Grandmaster on that Gladiator planet? Pretty weird stuff, but anyways, be sure to leave your thoughts down below. If you're stopped by the channel for the first time, subscribe for more great content like this. My name is Nick, and I'll catch you guys next time.